Hello, mental health clinicians. I did some research before going ahead and putting together these videos to find out why mental health clinicians may be leaving the field. And one of the reasons that came up was because keeping licensure, and even sometimes receiving licensure, is a pain in the butt. In some states in the United States, they make it a very long, arduous journey to be able to receive your licensure even after you have completed all of the prerequisites to have that licensure, so you can practice. In other circumstances, the ongoing changes in the licensure process, the things that you need to do in order to stay licensed, has become, again, an arduous journey and not worth many people's time and efforts, especially in this day and age when a lot of folks are leaving the medical aspect of practice to do life coaching, executive coaching if they've worked in corporations before, and along with their education and mental health, find that it's a really much better fit for them with much better pay without having to deal with insurance companies and all the paperwork that comes with that, and not having to deal with the associations and all of the handcuffs they put on you in order to treat your patients ethically, quote unquote. So there's a lot of folks who are leaving the profession. And in a sense, it's sad because there are many areas in the country where there are not enough mental health providers, especially for children, and children are going through a really hard time, especially post-COVID, between the masking, school closures, being locked in, and all the rest of the stuff that happened to some degree or another in the United States during the time that those policies were put in place. However, as a practitioner with a really good skill set, it is your right and your responsibility to yourself to be able to earn a living that works for you without having to feel like you have to jump through a bunch of hoops and do things that you realize really do not add anything to your practice and maybe even take away. And I can honestly tell you that I never got licensed because I didn't like what I saw in conventional mental health on so many levels. First of all, it comes from the perspective of pathologicalizing every human emotion there is. If you look under the DSM-5, I never looked at the DSM-5R, so I don't know, but my guess is it's probably even worse because all they're doing is selling medications for emotions that used to be regulated by the individual. It was something that people learned as they grew up. Now, there is a diagnosis for receiving payment under the insurance system, along with many drugs that can be prescribed, many of them toxic, and certainly toxic if given over a long period of time. I found this was true during my own situation when I was dealing with, over a decade of taking lithium for bipolar 2, which was actually diagnosed as manic depression in 1989 when I was actually diagnosed with it. And thanks to Todd James and his timeline therapy, 5 minutes after doing the 3 emotions that needed to be cleared, it was gone. Yes, the lithium stabilized me, but it didn't cure. It did not heal. It didn't take care of the underlying problems. And that's the problem with most of conventional therapy. You need to understand what caused the problem. You have to understand the purpose for holding on to the problem. You need to have a compelling future. Well, the patient needs a compelling future to let it go. And my compelling future was to be healed, to be able to live wherever the hell I wanted, not have to worry about psychiatrist appointments and medication. And the medication did actually slow down my kidneys after over a decade of being on the crap. And thankfully, my psychiatrist had a creatinine level run on my urine, which showed that happening and took me immediately off it. And then a few weeks later, Todd James helped me clear it. And yes, I did continue seeing my psychiatrist. She helped me get off the meds. I wasn't on a lot of them at that time. It was a pretty minimal dose. And she followed me for about 10 months until I realized that there was really no reason to continue. And she actually agreed that I was doing just fine. And that was back in February of 2004. As I'm recording this, it is actually April 12th, 2023. So that's a lot of years. So these things can be healed. They can be, without drugs. We understand how the subconscious mind actually works. So I want you to understand that we are able to help our clients heal. We are able to make a really good living when we sell programs instead of sessions. We're not relying on insurance companies and all the wasteful time and effort that goes into dealing with these people who have no idea what's going on with your patient. How could they? They don't know them. And yet they're making decisions that may be in opposition to what you feel is necessary for their health and healing. So to that end, I offer a 2-day VIP program with a 12-month mentorship. I only take on one trainee a week, and not every week of the year, because I have to actually mentor all of the folks who come in, because that is really truly the only way that you're going to learn how to not just learn the techniques which you'll learn in the VIP program, but how to apply them as you're practicing with your patients. So you can message me and let me know you need an appointment just so that we can go through what's going on with your patient, and then I can give you the input in terms of how to organize the procedures that you need to do the techniques, and if you need me to go over how to specifically do a technique, I can do that with you as well. And I can tell you that the trainees that I brought through this program are really happy with it because their patients actually heal. How do I know that? Because they tell me. They tell me. They're always excited when the guidance I gave them actually worked. It's a really, really excellent program. I love doing it. I love doing the mentorship part of it because my mission is to train as many mental health clinicians in how to integrate hypnotism and neurolinguistic programming into their practices. So instead of managing symptoms with drugs and endless sessions, you can actually help them heal, and you can actually charge a lot more for the work that you're doing if you can actually help them heal. There's plenty of people out there who are making a lot of money. They have more money than they have time, and they'd be really, really happy to get this stuff out of their lives so they can move on to the things that actually matter in their lives. I actually had a client not that long ago who told me that I totally undercharged him for the value he received because I was able to help him right then, right there. We did it in 3 sessions, and it totally turned his entire life around. Being available when they need it available is really important. It's something that I learned from my very first mentor. He did not train me, he mentored me after I signed up for Julie Griffin's basic hypnosis training when I first got into this business in 2002. So here's some ideas for you to think about. And if you're interested, I will have my contact information in the description below. We'll set up a time for us to have a free consult call to see if this is something that you'd like to pursue. That's all I have for you for today. As always, I thank you for spending your time with me. Till next time. Bye-bye all.